Merry meet everyone, I'm Witch Hazel, and today I'm going to explain how I lost my magic and what I did to get it back. First, what do I mean by losing my magic? I mean being stuck in a feeling of being unmotivated by my magical practice as it used to be, and wondering if I'm doing anything worthwhile anymore. When I looked at my life in terms of the things I always believed I should do as a witch, I found I was no longer doing them. I'd become lackadaisical with the wheel of the year, only practicing ritual when it was important or convenient to me. I stopped casting spells and creating seasonal crafts, and I wasn't even setting up an altar anymore. Worse than that, I felt as though my spells just weren't reliable anymore. One might work, and the next 3 would fail, and I had no idea why. I'd lost my magic, but I didn't realize it. What it manifested as in my life was, okay, I'm doing the witchy things, and yes, I'm making certain things happen in my life, and that's a good thing. And I'm getting by, but are things really going all that well for me? Well, it depends on the way you look at it. In my mind, things were going okay. But I know for a fact, from the outside looking in, people would say I was not doing so well as far as employment, stability, certain different aspects of my life. Given that a lot of the premise of being a witch is using our magical abilities to make great and wonderful things happen, I didn't really feel very magical. As you might imagine, this bothered me. I had to reevaluate a few things, and in so doing, I realized that I have been moving into a different variation of witchcraft, and it veers more into general spirituality. This opened up a new can of worms. I was still viewing spirituality and witchcraft as separate, instead of seeing where they overlap. In a previous video, I differentiated between witchcraft and spirituality using the idea of a downward focus in witchcraft, which recognizes divine energy in the natural world and uses that energy via tools and active interaction with nature. While spirituality has an upward focus on an outside energy and connecting to it through passive exercises like meditation. In both cases, a strong divine connection is the defining factor of manifesting success. So, while I was essentially attempting to cast my spells through spiritual means without the help of tools, I hadn't adequately solidified that inner divine connection. I came to the conclusion that, at least on the witchy path, there is a certain progression of things. Superstition to spell to ritual to magic. If you want me to go into more detail on this, please let me know in the comments. But the main point is, there's a sequence of events of how we create things and how we get in touch with our magical ability. What I mean by magical ability is our ability as witches to create what we want in life in a way that from the outside looking in seems like a miracle or something happening out of thin air. But of course, we as witches know it's not a miracle. We have put our divine energy into it, and therefore it must be. When we lose that connection to the energy we put into our work, that is when we lose our magic. I'll give a quick overview of how I was able to correct the issue, but I want to delve more into it in upcoming videos. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel to make sure that you don't miss those videos. Essentially, what I did was to go back in memory to a time when everything was going well for me. This was pretty much my entire childhood and into my early 20s. I had to ask myself, what was different then? Short answer, confidence. Long answer, a healthy divine connection I wasn't aware of. I was that kid who won every raffle, aced every test because it never occurred to me I might not. I was that super girly, totally not outdoorsy girl that made it through Army basic training, dead sick and with an undiagnosed broken foot, by the way, just because I assumed the only way of getting out of that trial was to complete it. I didn't start to lose my ability to create success and pretty much everything I wanted until a particular event in which someone I cared very deeply about convinced me I wasn't worth anything. Once I figured out this point of disconnect, the task was to reconnect to the old me, to that child who didn't have the common sense to believe in failure, that entitled Leo who assumed that all the best in life was meant to be hers. I could then start to connect that old magical self with my newer understanding of energy, divine energy, and start viewing it as internal rather than external. And guess what? All of a sudden, the magic started working again. I won't say I've gotten to the foolproof stage. It's not easy to maintain a healthy divine connection once we've slipped into the quagmire of self-doubt. Harder still if we can't remember a time of great confidence and magical ability. But it is possible. This is the path I'm on now, the one I want to share with you, and the one I want to help you walk if you're having any of the same magical dilemmas that I was. So I am looking forward to it, and I hope you are too. Until the next video, everyone, blessed be.